I welcome you with love. Today, I am going to be sharing some of the first few important of my 36 recommended food and herbal energies to support us in general vitality, longevity, and spiritual luminescence. In 1987, in my first book, Spiritual Nutrition and the Rainbow Diet, I introduced a shift in the paradigm, which was strength, endurance, health, and longevity. And to that I added the importance of spiritual life and brought the concept of eating in a way to help one become a superconductor of the divine. That was a paradigm shift. In 1990, in my book, Conscious Eating, and again in the year 2000, I brought in an Ayurvedic understanding and the importance of one's constitution. And now I'm adding, which I actually have done for years, the idea of the three treasures. As one who studied Taoist herbalism for years and studied with some very good teachers, and a diplomat in acupuncture, a certain background that's kind of shifted me towards thinking about our selections in terms of not just constitution, which is an important context, but what I call the three treasures. What are those three treasures? The first is what we call Jing. That's our deep primordial essence. It's called Prenatal Jing if it is what we are born with. Postnatal Jing is what we build up. The energy of Jing is stored in Chinese medicine and the kidneys, adrenals, testes, and ovaries, primarily. It's at the DNA level of our beingness. The second treasure is Qi. Qi has to do with our everyday life force, our ability to talk, digest, and metabolize. And it protects the Jing, because when the Qi's used up, we then go into our Jing, which decreases our overall deep primordial essence and strength. The third treasure is Shin. And Shin is spiritual illuminescence, wisdom, improved brain function in terms of memory, clarity, and ultimately wisdom. Those are your three jewels, so to speak. And they integrate together. One way of thinking about it is an analogy of a candle. The Jing is how big the actual candle is and how concentrated it is, and the wick. The flame is the Qi, and then the luminescence of the flame is the Shin. And the key is how to keep your candle burning in a way it creates a flame of life and ultimately elevates the light that's given off. And we can eat and live in a way that builds all these things and maintains all these things and restores all these things. That's the good news. A lot of people I see are very depleted in all three treasures. And I use certain things to help build. And I'm going to share 3 of those today. First is Goji Berries. And I use D-Dao Goji Berries, which is the highest quality. They really are harvested from China, and I have the highest regard for them. And Goji Berries build Yin Jing. Now, what does that mean? That's your deep, primordial, rejuvenative energy. Okay, Goji Berries has many important qualities at a biochemical level. They have certain qualities in them that actually stimulate human growth hormone. And it stimulates antioxidant production. And also stimulates a number of rejuvenative hormonal secretions that are very, very important for our deep primordial essence. And again, what that means is fundamentally our ability to reproduce and to have a strong constitution and immune system, and support the power of a strong life force. And Goji Berries actually does all of these. And the D-Dao Goji Berries, which actually come from China, are the ones that we use. And this is what we have here. It's called Heavenly Mountain. It's where it's harvested. D-Dao Goji Berries. So, obviously, I recommend it. I take and eat the Goji Berries every day. How much you need? Like a handful. You can soak them in hot water, draw it out, and it actually makes a very nice taste that way. You can put it in your teas, or you can just take it and chew it. But this is, again, the primary Jing builder. Okay? It's the primary Jing builder, and so I recommend it every day. Now, at one point, one of my herbal teachers, when we were in actually China, I brought up the point, well, yeah, but what about it raises your blood sugar? And I have to tell you, in the immediacy, it can raise the blood sugar. But the research, as Ron Teagard pointed out to me in our discussion, in the long term, it lowers blood sugar and tonifies the whole endocrine system. So you have a short term, but more important is the long term. That's why Goji Berries are important, because they're the long term. The person may be considered the longest lived man in the world that we know of. This is one of his key foods, herbs, that he took every day. And he lived to be 252, and that's documented. So that's pretty exciting. So I strongly recommend this as one of your primary, I'm going to say, foods and, in a sense, herbs. Another herb, and this is more of a qi herb, but it goes across all 3, is ginseng. And there are different kinds of ginseng, but the general teaching is we want ginseng that is at least 7 years old. The older it is, the more Shin energy it has, spiritual illumination. But at least 7 years old, and it is the primary herb for building qi. The secondary herb for building qi actually is Goji Berries. There are a variety of ginsengs out there. As I said, we want at least 7 years old. Occasionally we get some really older ginsengs that are very, very powerful and particularly support the Jing. The products we tend to use is what I call ginseng sublime, which is a mixture of different ginsengs. and American ginseng. American ginseng is a little bit more heating, and it builds the yang jing as well. What I notice, not only with Goji berries, but also with the ginseng, is it builds overall brain function. And some research even suggests that it has to do, the ginsengs have to do with literally expanding the size of the brain. But that's the main thing is they have the focus, concentration, memory, and expanding of consciousness. So they cut across. Primarily, it's your everyday life force energy. We don't want to just think it as muscle building, as some people see it, but really expanding brain function and capability is very much part of it. Like Goji, but actually primary to Goji in terms of qi. So that's the ginseng. And there's varieties. You have variety of Chinese ginsengs and American ginsengs. It's very good for improving your overall life force, your thinking ability, your cognitive ability, your memory, your metabolic function, your ability to really absorb nutrients, and your everyday life force. So something I recommend all the time. And it's one of the 2 of the 5 key herbs that this man who lived 252 years used, Ling Ching Yun, was the ginseng. Now the third is Rishi. Rishi is known by the Taoists as the herb of immortality. It builds Shen. It's the primary Shen herb. Radiance, illumination, wisdom, deeper thinking, enhancing spiritual life. And at the same time, it builds overall brain function, cognition, clarity of mind, memory. It works on all those levels. And interestingly enough, it also supports liver function. It's like the #1 herb I use with people with hepatitis. Okay, so it builds the rest of the body. Now, all these herbs, 3 I've mentioned, do support all 3 treasures. And Rishi, perhaps, is the most important for supporting Shen, but it does support Qi, and it does support the deep Jing. So those are my, I'm going to say, favorite everyday herbs I use. I use a variety of types of Rishi, like the Danwood Rishi, again, really from China as a mixture. I like, these are kind of another kind of like a Rishi powder I put in a lot of teas that add taste, but also bring the Rishi illumination energy. When I was in China, it was always, the Taoist masters are always having their Rishi around them. It was always almost synonymous, because Rishi is connected to illumination and liberation. So as we look at all of these in this unfolding, on my 36 top nutrients and herbs and foods, these are my, I'm going to say, the top 3 for building the 3 treasures. So you may be blessed with this understanding here, and you're welcome to get these from the Tree of Life. I have personally selected these from the different companies, which I think are the best of supporting these 3 treasures. So blessings to all of you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Amen.